Hello, everybody. This is Sarah Collins from Afterclass. Today, I'm joined by Maggie de Oliveira from Bridge Education Group. Thank you so much for coming. I know some people watching might know me from the Afterclass Facebook group because I'm one of the moderators there. But today we're broadcasting not just in the group, but also on the Afterclass YouTube channel, on LinkedIn and Twitter. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're joining us from, please do take a moment to post a comment and let us know where you are. We've got people signed up today from across the USA and well beyond. So let us know where you're joining us from. And it's also really useful if you can comment and say if you're watching live or if you're going to be watching on catch up, because that helps us as we run these events to understand how and when people see the webinar. So yes, welcome to everybody. This is our fourth day of the ESL Career Week. It's our fourth event. We've been running daily webinars every day. They're all available to catch up on the YouTube channel, and we have one more tomorrow as well. So do take a look at the YouTube channel playlist for information about that. And today's event, what we're doing is talking all about professional development. So this webinar is called Ongoing Professional Development. And I know that we have a lot of teachers joining us with different backgrounds and very different educational backgrounds as well. And this presentation should be relevant to everybody, no matter what point you are in your ESL career. I think like a lot of people joining maybe have similar background to me, which is that I did an undergraduate degree that was not related to ESL. And then I decided to become an ESL teacher, which is when I did my TEFL certificate. And when I finished the TEFL certificate, I kind of stopped thinking about my own training because I started teaching and all I was thinking about was the English learners and their learning and what they needed to do. So if you're joining today, this is great to take the time out of your schedule to think about your own development and thinking about what you need to do. And we hope you find it really useful. I can see a couple of comments. So hello, Denise from LinkedIn. Hello, Green. Welcome. Oh, from Berlin. Fantastic. And we people joining throughout. So I'm going to hand over to Maggie now. Hi, Maggie.
How's it going? Thanks.
It's great. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm really looking forward to your presentation.
Yes, me too. Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending. I'm excited to talk to you all about professional development. It's a topic near and dear to my heart, working at Bridge. Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. We've worked with Afterclass a bit in different projects too, so we really appreciate the invite to be able to present today and share with you all a little bit about what Bridge does and ideas for you as teachers for your own professional development, ideas for you to be able to stand out to future employers, but also to your students and know that they are learning from a really competent educator. So a little bit about myself. I'm Maggie de Oliveira. I'm the Teacher and Institutional Relations Manager here at Bridge. And Bridge is an institution that does teacher trainings. So if you are starting off in the career, just interested in perhaps starting to teach English as a foreign language, or if you are a seasoned teacher and you're looking to freshen up your skills, we have a lot of different courses to help people in every stage of their professional development. A disclaimer, a lot of my examples today are from Bridge and the courses we have to offer, but I also try to implement some ideas when you for your considerations when you are looking for your professional development options. So I hope it is relevant for you all and starts to get you thinking about some ideas that you might, some needs that you might be looking for. A little bit about me, I've been in education for a long time myself. I studied, similar to Sarah, it's not ESL, but comparative literature in my undergraduate, and I did have a master's in applied linguistics, and I was also teaching English, and I've been both a student in the language classroom and an educator, but currently in a more of an administrative role. I work very closely with our teachers that are taking our Bridge courses, and I get to hear all the feedback from them about why they are looking for professional development. So hopefully with all of that background and insights, I have something valuable to share with you today. A quick overview of the three main sections of this presentation. First, I want to share some points on the value of continual professional development and the impact it can have on your employability, your teaching skills, and also the student learning experience. I'll share some considerations when making your CPD investment and also some pathways to get the most out of your investment. So I'll use the acronym CPD throughout the presentation, but it's for continual professional development. I included a picture here from a professional development opportunity I had last week at the Tesol 2022 conference in Pittsburgh with my colleagues there. And so I thought relevant to share with you all a little bit of a good experience I had in my own professional development recently. So getting started, why do we need to educate the educators? Well, we see an ever-evolving need of students and teachers that are impacted by current events. Especially with the pandemic, we all know that this resonates, right? The different contexts that are evolving, technology and different job market requirements. Years ago, 100 hours of a TEFL TESOL certificate was a minimum requirement. Now it's 120 hours. And so we also have to adjust to those job market requirements. We also see the understanding of how languages are learned and taught evolving, right? In the beginning, there was more teacher talk time. There was more drilling exercises, but we've evolved to a more wholesome approach with the communicative approach, looking for different ways to have the students interact with the language, understanding there's different intelligences when it comes to language, different ways that people learn better. And so we have evolved to our understanding of what's important in the language classroom. But we have to consider what's next, right? Imagine that there is going to be a continued interaction with technology and how to use it in the classroom effectively rather than just using it to use it. And other different research that is being looked at the language classroom. And that's really, there is a need to be able to find, with all the different research happening, how that can be applied to the classroom. And that's where continued professional development can be really helpful. It can be a bridge to kind of get some of these best practices into the classroom in a practical, actionable way so that teachers can be assured that they are really delivering great lessons and feel confident that they are addressing the students' needs as well. And so in this first section, we are going to discuss professional development and the student experience. I'm just going to take a look over the comments. I don't see any questions here, but thank you for everyone that's coming over, attending and coming into the presentation. So professional development and student experience. We see that there are a lot of different factors for the student experience when they're coming into the classroom, whether it's a virtual classroom or in person. They bring in different levels of commitment for why they are wanting to take a language class, different needs, whether they need it to be able to get into a university or to get a pay raise or the actual interest in the language. We see external factors and competing priorities that might be just on the other side of the door in an online teaching setting or outside of the physical walls in an in-person setting too. A lot of things that every person is experiencing every day, and also diverse backgrounds, expectations for what they want to get out of the class, experiences with the language and with their own education, their own understanding of how they and their own abilities to learn. But one common denominator here is the teacher and how prepared the teacher is to approach all of these different factors, each student and the material. And we see also generational changes. The students that you taught 10 years ago are not the same students living in the same circumstances now. And, we teachers need to prepare for what is becoming a trend in 21st century teaching, which is focusing more on adapting and preparing yourself to handle learners and their ever-changing needs. We also looking at this common denominator of the teacher, we see so many different qualities and skills that make a great teacher. Sympathy and empathy for students, awareness of their needs, flexibility and imagination, ability to create interesting lessons that provide a variety of topics and exercises, classroom management skills, confidence, knowledge of the topic, open-mindedness, cultural awareness. This one I think is very important, a desire to reflect on what works and what doesn't, a willingness to implement change on that, encouragement to the students of independence so that they are, become independent lifelong learners, and many more different skills that are important for the teacher. Now, some of these might come more naturally and others may need to be developed. Some teachers might be born with a lot of these, and others they might have to cultivate more. In some of these qualities, teachers might not initially recognize as important in the classroom, and they need the opportunity to understand why would cultural awareness be important. And so all of these also can have evolving and updates that are constantly happening depending on all the factors I mentioned on the context and different situations that we are presented in our lives too. Teachers also hold lots of roles. They wear many hats. They're the role of the organizer. They implement a variety of activities that are aiming to involve learners in different ways for them to practice their language skills. They're facilitators. They help students be independent learners by giving them tools to be active even outside the classroom, encouraging them to question, analyze, and organize information that makes sense to them. They're planners. They consider all factors involving lesson planning, purpose, objective, the materials and activities you need, how you will deliver the instructions, how you will assess, plans A, B, and C for backup if something goes wrong, how you'll provide extra support for those that are struggling and with the lesson, etc. You're also the role model as a teacher. You're a role model of the language, right? Depending on the behavior and attitudes with the language you have, and the vocabulary and structures, tone, and interaction that you choose to use, that's going to affect how your students use the language as well. Your students will model that. Finally, they are assessors, right? We analyze the needs of each student. We provide grades and action plans for improvement. We address challenges and provide feedback to help them learn, and different ways that we need to assess the students, right? So even if some of these skills I mentioned come naturally for others, are more innate, the reflective and proactive teacher is always looking to hone in on these teaching skills. And we want to prepare for how to improve the learner's experience. Excuse me. So CPD is an opportunity for that. It can make a huge impact on your confidence as well. And it can also make your job easier so that you do have the time to think about what you are doing in the classroom. Take some time to reflect on it, build some skills so that when you go to plan a lesson on a new topic, it's not as much of a challenge, not as much of a hurdle, but you do have in your teacher toolbox ideas for what to implement and you're ready to go. So that's kind of the idea where CPD can be really helpful for all of these things that a teacher has to pay attention to. And that's why I bring it, I wanted bring some value to everything that the teacher has. These are some roles that I mentioned, but there's a lot of other roles and hats that the teacher may play. A lot of different characteristics that a teacher has. And so this is a lot for one person to handle. So how can we help support teachers? And that's where CPD can come in. Here I have an example from a Bridge alumni. He shares that the reason I got TEFL certified is it's one of the requirements for my job and for my professional development. Professional development is what each English instructor must strive for, especially to stay updated in his or her field. So he shares a similar sentiment as me, understanding that the value of professional development to be able to stay updated in the field, right? And understand those evolving needs that I've mentioned. We also have a few other feedback from some other Bridge alumni, understanding the importance of professional development, even on the practical side of being to earn continuing education units, college credit, and understanding that both inside and outside the classroom, that importance that professional development opportunities can have. And this kind of leads into the second section of my presentation, thinking about professional development and your employability. And these are some considerations beyond the classroom in order for you to be able to get into the classroom in a teaching environment that you really enjoy. I see that there's a lot of options out there when you start to explore the opportunities and possibilities of teaching. I think this ESL Career Week is addressing that, sharing with you different opportunities that there is for teaching, which is really exciting. And first, though, I think you need to make sure you have those skills to stand out for some of those jobs. I know there was a presentation on making sure your resume, making that the best, putting your best foot forward, and having some of these professional development opportunities and experiences, showing that you're a lifelong learner as well, can really be a great way to help you stand out. One of the terms that we have been seeing as a buzzword kind of in business is upskilling. We see in these different headlines how post-pandemic, this upskilling is becoming really important. And there's been a huge emphasis put on it. So this is a new term, upskilling, and I'm sharing with you all a definition here. Upskilling means investing in honing the workforce's existing skills to fill current and future needs. Along with reskilling, upskilling is a crucial component of today's talent strategy. Upskilling is a process of elevating existing skills to the next level. Typically, upskilling occurs along a set career path, giving employees clear opportunities for advancement as they level up their skills. So hopefully you can see some parallels to continued professional development because you might have a degree in teaching, you might have a TEFL certificate already. But once that happens and once you're in the classroom, you might see a need for to elevate those existing skills to the next level. We also see a need for upskilling in our world, really, post-pandemic. We're experiencing new landscapes and technology. There's a lot of change happening across all industries. And companies need to be staying competitive. And workers, we want and need to be happy and successful in our career. For example, back when the pandemic started, we had an influx of teachers worldwide taking our Teaching English online courses. And that was a form of upskilling. These teachers recognized that they needed to transfer skills they had in teaching in a classroom to an online setting. So they were able to find an upskilling course in order to elevate what they already knew and apply it to that online setting. I think that was really great to see how the teachers were proactive in that way, seeking different resources in that sense. And how is a need for upskilling being filled? Well, one of the main channels is MOOCs, those massive open online courses. Many of you may be familiar with Coursera, Udacity, and edX. And these are different kind of opportunities that are offering upskilling courses in various industries. So does upskilling work? Well, 91% of companies and 81% of employees say that upskilling or reskilling training has boosted their productivity at work. Employees share that they feel more confident in their work, and that 87% of people say that they actually got a promotion, a raise, or it helped in starting a new career. So we see that there is a lot of benefit here in the idea of upskilling, showing even your most current and relevant skills, right, front and center on your resume. So upskilling is needed for teachers too, right? We've seen that with the transition to more online delivery, hybrid options might be more of a common delivery as well. Different technologies and also more challenges than ever with the global environment. Teachers need to keep their skills current and understand how to address a lot of the needs of their students. And now I'm kind of want to be sharing with you a few opportunities and considerations for continued professional development solutions. And that's where in this part of the presentation, I want you to consider your CPD as an investment in your time, energy, and money, whether it's being paid for by an employer or a district or out of pocket by yourself. I want to show you a few pathways and options to really get the most out of it, so you don't feel like you're wasting your time or energy just to check the box to earn your continued education units that you need, or to earn your TEFL Tesol certificate, but not feel any more prepared to be teaching. But really how you can find different ways to find professional development that is really valuable for you, that you can both bring into the classroom and put on your resume. It really should be twofold in that way. So here I'm sharing with you a few considerations for traditional CPD in the idea of upskilling, to kind of help you all understand what I'm talking about with these courses. Upskilling courses are often very specific. They can go into very niche topics, such as error correction in the classroom, how to more effectively correct errors. Timely, they cover newest trends in technology. For example, teaching English online, different games in the online classroom. They're actionable. There's tools and techniques that you can apply in your classroom right away. So it's not just that methodology or the research on how learners learn, but actually some techniques that you can use in the classroom. They're also flexible very often in that they're self-paced online courses. So if you're a working professional and have other work outside with your family and all your different priorities that you have the flexibility to be learning at your own pace. And they're also developed by experts in this space and in e-learning. So it's not just a web page or it's not just a textbook from a page put onto a web page. It's actually interactive and using some best practices. So you as a learner are able to absorb the information as well. Often these courses have digital badges that you're issued by completion, backed by blockchain technology, which was really just a way for you to have to be able to verify that you are the earner of the badge yourself. And this makes it also easy to share it on LinkedIn, on your resume, and really highlight and showcase all of your skills. And we at Bridge, we deliver these upskilling courses. I've kind of alluded to that at this point, but we offer affordable, accredited, relevant professional development courses for English language teachers. All of them that are 100% online and flexible in that you're able to do them and work on them when you can, and also find options that are going to work for you. We have a gamut of different courses, from someone just starting in their career with the professional courses we have, to someone that might want to be switching into a different area of teaching. If you're teaching young learners, but you'd actually like to get into teaching business English, we have courses to specialize in an area as such, or even for curriculum development, or for CLIL, the content language integrated learning. We have micro-credentials where you can actually start for free if you want to just learn on a specific topic, such as teaching English using a podcast, teaching English using video, games in the online classroom and such. So you have kind of different options for being able to select which professional development opportunity it best fits you. And I share that as, one of the one options for upskilling courses in the ELT field that we are in. And hearing that, I want you to consider how to get the most out of this investment that I'm mentioning. You know, it's your time, your money, and your energy. What do you need to be looking for? Well, you want to pay close attention that you're working with an accredited institution so that you know their business model is solid, they're using best practices, and you're getting a great education too. You also want to be able to customize your learning so that you can hone in on something you actually need or you want to learn more about, something you'd like to teach more. And this is a way that's going to help you engage with the material more. And rather than learning the same thing 5 times twice, you can actually pick a topic you really want to work on. There are options out there, so I think it's worth looking for them. You can also, once you've made that investment and you're decided you're going for that course, I highly recommend making a study plan to track your progress, whether you have the goal of doing multiple courses or you have one course that's that you're working on. Making a study plan can be really helpful to because you are making this investment in yourself. So it can be hard to have that self-discipline, but making a study plan can really help you track your progress, feel that you are realistically reaching your goals as well. And so institutions, organizations like Bridge, we try to provide that encouragement by giving you incentives to complete. You'll earn your digital badge and your TEFL certificate. We also help with messaging to make sure you're staying on track. Any support that we can give you to help, we try to provide that for you. We also offer some resources like study plans so you can adapt them to your schedule and see how you can prepare for success, right? Similar, I think of study plans as kind of a lesson plan. You have your end goal and you work backwards to understand how you're going to make progress each week to reach those goals. So that is one thing that I would emphasize as a way to get the most out of your investment is making sure once you've enrolled that you really stick to completing it so that you do have that achievement. And those are like little successes that you can be able to share both on your resume, but bring into the classroom too. And finally, be sure you know all about your investment, right? How can your credential be used? Can you get college credit for your course? Can you get continuing education units? How can you share your course with others? For example, 6 of Bridge courses are available for college credit. All courses, you earn a digital badge and continuing education units once you complete. And you can share your digital badge on LinkedIn, for example. These are just some ideas that you can get the most out of it and use it for different purposes. So if you really do need to check the box for continuing education units, at the same time, you can pick a course that you are interested in learning. And let's see. Also, now I'm kind of getting into the third section of my presentation, professional development pathways. And this is, now that you have some list of what you should be looking for, what you could be looking for, I want to give you some learning track considerations. Again, my examples are with Bridge because we offer different learning tracks for you. And so hopefully you find this helpful. Learning continued professional development with Bridge. We're experts in ELT. We offer accredited credentials. We're experts in e-learning. We use a learning management system and make sure that it's not just a textbook on a page, but they're interactive discussion boards, different quizzes and downloads, infographics, interaction with your tutor as well, so that you are creating a community of practice in your course and being able to connect with other people and get ideas from other teachers around the world that are taking our courses. And really, that is a way to kind of encourage you to continue learning and complete the course. As I was talking about the study plans, make sure that you complete what you started, right? We cover a wide range of topics, and we offer stackable credentials. So you can start with one course, so you don't have to chew off 200 hours of TEFL TESOL certificate courses to start. But if you want to start with a 10-hour, 20-hour course, knowing your time limitations, your resources, you can begin small and keep adding on to your learning. I think that's a really helpful way to not lose motivation, but be able to continue in small bits, right? Every little small opportunity, piece of information that you start to gather, I think can really add up to be really encouraging for your own professional development. Why should you trust Bridge? Well, we're industry leaders with 35 years experience in language education. Our programs are recommended for credit by American Council on Education. So you have that twofold ability to not only learn something great, but if you need college credit, you can get that as well. We're accredited by ASSET, which is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education, as well as Aqueducto, which is based in the UK. And all Bridge courses are approved for continuing education units. The 150-hour IDEL online course can also be used as credit towards a master's in TESOL program at some of our partner institutions. So these are some, again, I hope are resonating to some of the tips that I'm sharing with you, different ways that you can use your investment. And I think it can make it more encouraging and motivating to be able to complete your course. Bridge covers a variety of different topics and themes. We have 30 plus courses in our portfolio. You can decide that you need to work on teaching test prep, content and language integrated learning, sometimes called sheltered learning here in the United States, teaching business English, a whole series of teaching English online courses. If you work with young learners and teens and you want some resources and ideas there, we have courses on that. Teaching English as a global language, teaching English grammar, not only teaching it, but a full review of English grammar. So those of you that haven't taken an English grammar course since 8th grade or want a refresher on your grammar, this is a great course. Error correction, materials development, games in the online classroom, and many more. So you can really, this is where I'm talking about customizing your learning and being able to pick and choose what you want to learn. You can start small, or you can go with a lot of courses at once too, depending on what your goals are and really what you're working towards. Also, just to note, our micro-credential series, I mentioned earlier, you can start for free. So say you're not quite sure, you don't want to, you're not sure about the course, but you want to take a look at the material, you can begin the course, and maybe you just want some resources on error correction or materials development, but you don't necessarily think you need the digital badge or the certificate for it. You can enroll in the course and be able to look at the material for free. This is something that really is a goal for Bridge, is us to be able to help teachers feel confident in the classroom and have a lot of resources, making them available, accessible for everyone at different, with different levels of resources and time. So that's a part of an initiative to be able to help every teacher that's looking for professional development. And one course that is another option, an interesting pathway, is our IDEL online course. It's our most advanced credential. You can earn 6 graduate credits and 15 continuing education units. And it's also a pathway to a master's in TESOL. So you might be interested in a master's in TESOL, but you're not sure about making that commitment yet. This is a graduate level course. So it's a great way to get your feet wet and see if you're interested, or if you're maybe a little nervous if you can handle that level of a course. This is also a great way. Maybe you already have a graduate degree, and so you want that caliber and rigor of a course. This is also a great way to kind of feed that interest of yours. It's a 12-week course where you can work through with a cohort of trainees. This is a great way to kind of create a community of practice during and beyond the course duration. So I know many teachers find it as a networking opportunity because they're interacting with teachers from around the world in this course, and with all of our courses too. They serve as a type of a networking opportunity. And finally, there's the Masters in TESOL. Finally, we have actually one more before this, but Masters in TESOL is a great opportunity for you as well. You might consider it after taking the IDEL online, because you can transfer your college credit and already be well on your way to completing a master's. This can really give you a competitive edge on your resume, can give you a pay raise if that's something that your district is requiring. It can qualify you to be a community, work in a community college as well, in different settings. And this is, a way to kind of elevate your knowledge. And there's also a lot of really flexible options with a lot of our Masters in TESOL pathway programs, where you can start by maybe just getting the graduate certificate, which then adds on to a Master's in TESOL, which then you can pursue a doctorate. And you can kind of go, and them being aware of a lot of people that are doing a master's that are already working professionals and need to work on the side. There's different ways that you can pace your program too, depending on the different institutions. But I think that our pathway programs have a lot of different options that that would fit the bill, that are interesting for different people's needs too. So that can be a really great resource for you as well. And finally, we have Bridge Universe. This is a free resource that we offer to anybody that's interested. You don't have to be enrolled in a Bridge course. It's a division of Bridge called Bridge Universe, and we offer free expert series learning webinars. We have online learning summits. The next one we have is at the end of April in testing and assessment. There's a free enrollment option, or you can do the all access pass option for a fee. We have news digests and ELT industry articles that are being published, teaching tips, job tips, Facebook, where you can interact with different teachers around the world and get ideas and hear about different job opportunities that way, ideas in the class that you can use in the classroom as well. So this can be a really helpful way for you to stay ahead of things in our industry, keep abreast of different news that's happening, so that you are really informed of what is happening in the ELT field. And that's kind of our goal with the Bridge Universe division as well. So that kind of concludes my presentation today. There are options to work smart and be able to use your CPD investments in different ways that will impact both your practice in the classroom and also open up different doors and opportunities for you outside of the classroom. So that really was, hopefully some of these insights gave you some ideas on and resonated with your needs for your attendance, and out of appreciation for being here. I want to share with you all a promo code for the IDEL online course that I mentioned. This is the one that was a graduate level Bridge course that you can transfer to a Master's in TESOL. So, and also in appreciation for Off to Class having us, we wanted to give the audience a promo code for 10% off using the code ESL Career Week. And with that, it concludes my presentation. Thank you all very much for your attention. I look forward to looking at the comments. I wasn't very good at following the questions during the presentation, but let's take a look at them and see if we can help with anything.
Thank you so much, Maggie. That was really a very motivational presentation about very accessible ways, I think, to start with the professional development if you are maybe a recently qualified teacher or you haven't really thought about it before. And I also think it's very relevant to see these much more advanced opportunities towards the MA TESOL. I think we have some questions about that.
Okay.
I'll start. I see one question here. So which Bridge course should I take if I am planning to teach adult students working in different industries? So that sounds like a business adult students. Is that the kind of thing you have?
Yeah, we have a teaching business English course. I think that would be a good opportunity for somebody looking to be teaching adult students in different industries, and they give you that course looks at one important step in the business English and working with adults is a needs analysis, so that you're really focusing on what your students need for their specific industries, right? So you can adapt it. If they are going to be doing a lot of presentations, you can be working on certain speaking skills and vocabulary for their industry. So I think that would be a good starting point for that teacher.
That sounds really fantastic. I think those needs analysis, when you're dealing with business adult students, they really want to see the benefit of their investment in the same way that we do when we're looking at CPD. And it's such a convincing way when you're meeting a new student to show that you're going to give them a professional English course.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can understand why you focus on that. And we also talk a lot, we've spoken in the Facebook group a lot about this idea of finding your niche. So not just working with business English, but what type of businesses are you looking at? Are you looking at aerospace or marketing or architecture, whatever perhaps you have previous experience or interest in?
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely.
Okay, we have a question from Denise. Wait, was it? Oh, sorry, it was from Sam. I misread that. Are your courses, so these are the bridge courses, accepted as equivalent to university courses by US school districts? And a similar question from Nilab Joe, that can teachers use these to teach ESL in public schools?
Yeah, so we have 6 courses that are considered university level courses that have been approved for college credit by ACE Credit. ACE Credit is accepted by I think it's over 1,700 universities in the United States. So then a lot of universities that accept ACE Credit, you can transfer credit into your program. And then we also have any course you take is available for continuing education units. So you might need, I know that a lot of the discussion this week was talking with the districts. A lot of districts want you to have a teaching credential. So teaching ESL in public schools, I've seen different districts accept our courses for that certain ESL endorsement that you need for your credential.
Oh, so do you find you might have somebody who's teaching another subject, perhaps they're qualified in a specific subject area, then coming to get the ESL specialization through this kind of course?
Yeah, exactly. They can if they can show that, they earn continuing education units and it's in this topic, they can use their bridge course for that. Yeah.
I see. So it sounds like perhaps if you're coming from the TEFL background, so you've got your TEFL certificate and you're looking towards ESL in public schools, that the 6 accredited courses working towards that MA Tesol could be an accessible step towards that goal. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it depends on the districts. That, as I understand, in a lot of the districts, they really need that teaching credential. But if they are looking for that the emphasis with the TEFL TESOL certificate, and if they're accepting a college credit and a master's in TESOL as equivalent to that, then it could be applicable. Yeah. So it really, and that's why these meet the districts tops are so helpful, right? Because it really can vary per district in each state too,
Yeah, it's extremely varied, and that's definitely something that we've seen in the conversations that we've had with the other districts. They do have varied requirements for each state or district, but we also heard from them about how they have pathways themselves and ways to support teachers who might be starting in assistant roles but qualifying alongside of it. So as you said, Maggie, about achieving these qualifications part-time or alongside working, there's a lot more flexibility than I knew. So I think
that's very informative in that sense, right? Because in a sense, we it kind of you're looking when you're checking the box, but to know that there's that flexibility, and that's what we're learning more and more as we get to hear from different districts too, that there is some flexible options of how our courses could apply to those requirements, which is encouraging.
Yeah. I was glad that you mentioned the Bridge Universe. So the recent summit is one that Chris Jagazia from Class presented at, and I attended the networking event there. And it does seem like an effort from Bridge to professionalize the TEFL offering that they're giving.
Right.
And I wondered if it can be a bit of a challenge to prove the benefit of this additional training to your students or to employers, but especially if you're working in a freelance perspective as an ESL teacher, and you might be competing on ESL on teacher marketplaces. For example, we have a lot, my background was on italki, but we have people who are working on italki or others, where you filter teachers by price as opposed to qualifications. Yeah. And I wondered if you think, is that a trend that might change? Do you think ESL is becoming a more professional, an expectation of more professional certifications?
Right.
Going forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that you understand our efforts to professionalize teachers and to really give value of why they need to be continuing to learn. I think a lot of English teachers have also been learners of languages, and we've been on the other side, and we know when we're dealing with a teacher that is really sharp, like you can't really fool the student, right? So if we're looking for price, and there's people at different stages of what they are looking for of teaching too, where they're setting a lower price and whatnot to kind of get themselves started. I do think that we are working towards, if you're able to really showcase that you have years working with business English, and if you're able to even to show that you have some results, and that's where I think testimonials from students is a really helpful way. And this summit on testing and assessment is also a really helpful way to see that your work is working, that you're doing in the classroom and seeing in different forms of assessment that your students are learning. I think those are ways that you can continue to be marketing yourself to in a marketplace or on your resume, and sharing some of those results. I think would be ways that you can also in that sense. I don't know.
Sometimes it's about educating the student about why your certificate or why attending this summit is going to change the results that they're going to get from learning with you.
Right.
In these settings.
No, I'll just comment that I think it would be helpful as you're going through these different professional development opportunities to share with your students that you are learning too, and you're making efforts to be able to help them and bring them a better education. That certain openness, transparency, and honesty with them, I think goes a long way too.
Yeah, and when you're studying yourself, it reminds you the challenge, like you said, about being disciplined to study. Sometimes we lose that empathy with our students when they're not doing their homework. When you do your own course, you think, oh yeah, that's why.
Exactly.
I was also thinking that we find a lot of teachers come into ESL perhaps because it is more of a convenient option. So they might be doing it to travel, not recently, maybe more so now, but previously, or they think it's a good way to do something on the side while studying. And then they find that passion for teaching that comes afterwards. So they've got this experience from working with kids maybe in another country or working online, and then they're at that stage where they realize they have a passion for it and want to have it as a long-term career. And it seems like these kind of courses are the way to make that step. Yeah,
exactly. And even in my own experience, it was kind of like that, where I was thrown into a teaching environment where I thought I was going to be assistant, and all of a sudden I was teaching because I spoke English, right? And so then I was realizing, oh, I do want to be a better professional, and I sought out an opportunity for a TEFL TESOL certificate. That was kind of what began my my teaching experience as well. And like you said, yeah, once you fall in love with it, then you want to do better at it. And I think you really, where that confidence can come from. And I think a lot of times with, the common topic of burnout is we're not like feeding ourselves enough of knowledge. And really you've done everything, every resource and game again, and you don't know what else to do. You don't know why they're not improving. And that can be really discouraging, right? So that's where I think in that transition where we can kind of continue, you mentioned falling in love with it, but also you can, start to feel a little disenchanted and not interested in it and discouraged. I think that's where professional development can really feed that, and keep the love alive.
Yeah, exactly. And especially after the past 2 years, and with a lot of people starting to teach online, maybe that was their first teaching experience. Now is a moment to reflect on what you want your next steps to be as a teacher, and whether that's in the classroom, still online, or even in a public school.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think there are ways to find maybe in the working in a public school, there might be some more requirement. It might be a combination of different learning opportunities that you can kind of piece together, which is what's really unique in that sense. I think districts are seeing that, okay, we can accept these different college credits for a certain requirement or whatnot. And that I think is really cool to make their professional development more impactful and actually be used both in and outside of the classroom.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, Maggie. I don't think we have any more questions yet, but we will be checking the video afterwards. So if you're watching on catch up and you come up with any questions, we will make sure to answer those in the comments. Awesome. Our final webinar is tomorrow, and it's all about building an ESL pipeline. So I think this is going to be very interesting to any districts, recruiters, employers, but it should also be interesting to ESL teachers who are thinking about entering districts. And that will be at the same time, which is 11 a.m. EST, here on the Off to Class YouTube channel, in our Facebook group, on LinkedIn or Twitter. So thanks so much, Maggie. And hopefully we can work together on another initiative soon.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah and Off to Class, for having us. It was a joy to present to you all today. Appreciate it.